for yoga, 7 a.m. Time for day 26 of our 30-day yoga challenge. Let's get going. From standing position. Oh, if you want to use a block and a strap today, we're going to be using those. So go grab that real quick. Hands overhead. Oh, reaching tall. Up on the toes. Up on the toes. Up on the toes. And twist to the right. Tiny pulses to the right. And back to center. Up on the toes. Up on the toes. Up on the toes. And turning left. Tiny pulses to the left. And center. Tiny back bend. Oh, stretching that spine up through the ceiling. And center. Kick those hips out to the left. And kick those hips out to the right. Back through center. Clasp those hands behind you. Open up the chest. Stretching the shoulders. And release. Forward fold halfway down. Hands to thighs, pressing through. Gazing forward. Ooh, start beginning to stretch those hamstrings in the lower back. Right leg straight. And left leg straight. And back to center all the way down. Folding forward, using the weight of your hands and your head to decompress your spine. And let yourself fall all the way over and walk it out. Feet back. Pedal it out for down dog. Hips to the sky, shoulders and chest reaching for the floor. And left knee in and up, in and up, in and up. 2 more times. In and up, in and up. Pedal it out. Right knee in and up, in and up, in and up. 2 more times. In and up, in and up. Pedal it out. And drop to the knees. Sitting back on the heels. Weight in your heels. Stretching out the feet. Hi, baby. Hi. Hello, sweetheart. My assistant is here. Now we can start pressure. Hi, baby girl. If that's a little too much, you can come back up onto your heels a little bit, lighten the weight a little bit. This is such a good stretch for the upper foot. Come up on your toes and make those toes go the opposite direction that they normally do. Get a little blood flow back in those. We're going to go right into our strap set after this. So if you don't have a strap, go grab one. Remember, you don't need fancy stuff for yoga. This is actually the strap from a swim buoy. So any kind of belt or tie will work. So let's just make our way down to our backs. Onto our backs. Trying not to squish our yoga cats. Equalize the weight in the lower back. Roll from side to side. Knees to each side a few times. That feels good. Finding that balance on the floor. Making connection with the floor, each vertebrae, each little part of the back. Making sure you're not bowed up. And we're going to bring that left foot up and lasso it. And bring that foot straight. Keeping both hip bones locked onto the floor behind us on the floor here. In other words, when you're doing these, you don't want the other hip to start coming up. So you want to control and engage the core to help keep the body flat and straight and connected to the floor throughout. So that's the trick here. And we're just going to do some pulses up with this leg. Start feeling that stretch in the hamstring. Some nice release. The longer you hold these poses, the more benefit you will find. So if you want to lengthen things up, you can hold each section of this for twice as long as what we're doing today, or 3 times. You can hold this for 5 minutes if you want. And eventually that's going to mean that you're going to strengthen and lengthen and get more flexibility in your hamstrings. Little pulses, and then bring it forward just a little bit higher. Still keeping that leg straight, though. It's the key. And pulses. And bring it up. And bend the knee to release. Pull that knee into the chest. Woo, that feels good. And extend that foot one more time. We're going to take the leg to the side. Here's where the core control really comes in. Let that leg drop, but don't let that right hip come up. So we're keeping that right hip. You got to kind of counterbalance it with the right leg. Pressing through the right heel to maintain connection to the floor. And feel the left leg release, inner thigh, kneecap. And take it a little bit lower if you can. That way start to feel the hip move in the socket. The hip changes in the socket right here. Letting go. Feeling the release in the inner thigh, the kneecap. And then let's pull that strap up toward the shoulders a little bit. Tiny little pulses if you can. Keeping that right hip locked onto the floor, nice and even. And bend the knee to come out of that. Pull that knee close into the chest. Oh, that feels good. And take it all the way over. This time, that left hip's going to come up, obviously, because we're twisting. Let's take that twist all the way over. Whew. Arm extended to the left. Feel the release in the hip flexor. What are you doing? She's got an appointment to get to. And bend that knee and come back to neutral. Bringing the knee straight into the chest. Woo. And release. Stretch that leg out long. Few little pulses. Reconnecting that left side of the back to the ground. And there we go. Let's do the other side. Straight up. Keep that leg straight, tiny little pulses. Engage the core, keeping the hips stable. And a little higher. And back to original position. Nice and straight. A little higher. Feel that release in the hamstrings, the hip region, the glutes. Release. A few more pulses here. And bend the knee and bring it in. Oh, bring that knee close into the chest. Oh, that feels good. Using the strap will help you to get that knee in a little bit closer than usual. Feels good. And release to straight. Now taking that leg to the side, very slowly. Remember, even out those hips. Engage the core. Let the inner thigh release, let the kneecap release. And just hang out here for a second. And drop it a little lower if you can. Feeling that shift in the hip. Release of tension. And tiny pulses up. And bend the knee to release. Bring that knee all the way into the chest. Oh, that feels good. And release to straight and bring it all the way over. There we go. Right arm extended. Woo. Feel that nice stretch in the hip flexor. The IT band. Woo. Release all the tension in the lower back. Woo. The longer you hold these, the more you'll feel little bits and pieces moving around, releasing. My back usually cracks during this part. And bend the knee to release, coming back to center, bringing the knee all the way into the chest. And release. Extend that leg straight out. Tiny little pulses, even out those hips. And release. Ooh, drop those knees to the left. Drop those knees to the right. Grab your block. We're going to come on it into a supported bridge. So knees bent, weight in the heels. Lift those hips and place your block. Roll your shoulders under. And then relax. Decompressing that lower back. You can choose your height on your block, whichever feels good to you. Just gonna hang out here for a minute or so and let that lower back decompress. And bring some movement back into your fingers and toes. Lift those hips, remove the block. If you like, you can support those hips for just another second. Coming into a little bit higher bridge. Almost a bridge. Just almost a wheel. Get our back bend going here pretty soon. And release one vertebrae at a time. Oh, coming down, nice and easy. Whew. Guarding your back, come on up. Slowly, don't get dizzy, we've been down for a while. Nice. Grab your block. Whew. Just lean forward, forehead on that block. Whew. Just hang out for a sec. Take a minute, set your intentions for the day. And coming up. Thank you for joining me for day 26 of our yoga challenge. See you tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Bye guys, have a good day.